Today as gamers, we are living in an era where pre-purchasing games is definitely a bad idea. And it's so sad because the reason why I'm making this video, it's because of The Last of Us Part 1, or pretty much, in other words, The Last of Us remaster. So yes. Thing is, I love this video game, so I pre-ordered it on Steam and I was really excited to try it out because, I mean, honestly, I played it on PlayStation multiple times, but I wanted to enjoy this game with the whole benefit of being a PC gamer, with every advantage that it brings. So high refresh rates, mouse and keyboard support, and hell, even mod support. So yeah, it's really appealing. Also, another reason why I got this game was because of the Steam Deck. I love my Steam Deck, and I love playing my video games on the go, because I'm someone who travels a lot, so I need my Steam Deck to keep playing my games. The problem comes when the game is released. It actually was released yesterday by the moment I'm making this video, and The Last of Us Part 1 on PC is an absolute disaster. It's such a big disaster that even on my desktop PC, the game runs pretty bad. It runs so bad that I want you guys to check this out. This is the game running on my PC right now on an RTX 3080 Ti. It is a pretty beefy PC, and we have an AMD Ryzen 7 5800X 3D, so I think it's decent enough to run this game at least a high refresh rate. So here's the thing, the game runs between 90 and 120 FPS most of the times. There are some times that the game goes down to 60 FPS or even 50 or even 40 FPS depending on the scene. But yeah, the game overall runs between 90 and 120 frames, which it isn't a bad thing considering that I'm playing in the max settings and everything. But honestly, having the PC that I have, it's not as much as I expected. But it doesn't end here. The game consumes a huge amount of VRAM, and the VRAM is essential if you want the game to be running flawlessly. So no matter what options you use, even if you have the low preset settings, the game will still run badly. But what's so weird, it's a weird mouse camera jitter effect that is going on with this game. It feels like the game wasn't programmed to run at higher refresh rates, so when you move the camera in this game with your mouse at a higher refresh rate than 60 FPS, for some reason the camera does a really weird movement. It feels like the movement is like 60 FPS from the camera while the game is running at a higher frame rate, like for example 120 FPS. So when I cap the game to 60 FPS in my PC, this effect isn't barely noticeable because it feels like the game was not planned to work higher than 60 FPS, I guess? I don't know. So hopefully they fix this. And of course we have to mention the audio crackling issues that break the experience.
Through here.
But it doesn't end there. Steam Deck is a system that is more than capable to run this game, at least in a decent configuration, but it doesn't. It doesn't because the game is poorly optimized. So here we go, here's the game, and oh my god, it doesn't run at all this good. Medium settings, it doesn't even reach the 30 FPS. So I have to turn the settings all the way down to low. And hell, even in low, with AMD FSR 2 in performance mode, it doesn't reach 30 FPS. This is ridiculous. The only way to have a stable 30 FPS experience on the Steam Deck with The Last of Us Part 1 is to lower down not only every single graphics setting, but also lowering down the AMD FSR preset to ultra performance, which makes the image extremely blurry while in motion, which is terrible. And of course, what's also so terrible is that you're not clicking the like button in this video and not subscribing to this channel, because if you love video games, you should subscribe. Now, here's the thing. So Naughty Dog on Twitter actually tweeted about this and said the following. The Last of Us Part 1 PC players, we've heard your concerns, and our team is actively investigating multiple issues you've reported. We will continue to update you, but our team is prioritizing updates and will address issues in upcoming patches. Our team continues to monitor our support pages. Submit a ticket for any issues you encounter here. And it just drops there a link so you can send some feedback. So here's the thing. I actually love this and hate it at the same time. So I love the fact that they acknowledge the problem and they are gonna try to fix it as soon as possible. Hopefully it doesn't take them too long, because I don't want to play the PC port if it's in this very terrible state. I don't buy a PC version to play at 60 FPS, I buy a PC version to at least play more than 90 FPS, if possible. That's why I paid this much money on my PC. But what I really hate about this situation is that nowadays, video games are using the cloud in their advantage to sell you half-baked games so they can actually fix them later in the future. So this is not only the case with The Last of Us Part 1. One of the best examples I can give to you is Cyberpunk 2077. I loved that game, and I still love it to this day. But Cyberpunk 2077 was released in such a terrible condition that on day one, the game was broken. So the game had to be fixed throughout the months. In fact, it was fixed throughout the years through patches online. This problem would not happen back in the day when games were only sold with physical discs and there was no internet connection to update your video games. So if a game was released half-baked, that game would be half-baked for the rest of its life, which again, it's a positive to have updates nowadays. But the thing is, developers, especially publishers, use this technology to rush the release of a video game in order to just launch it and have the investors happy, while the consumers have to consume a terribly polished product. And they have to wait until the game gets updated throughout the time. Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy Definitive Edition, that's another example I can give to you. So The Last of Us Part 1, it's a phenomenal game, and on the PlayStation 5, it runs and works really well. It looks phenomenal, and I love that game there. On PC, so far, it's been a disaster, and it's gonna still be a disaster until they decide to fix it. On my Steam Deck, it's pretty much unplayable, because yes, you can play at 30 FPS, but having every setting to the lowest, and having the AMD FSR 2.0 at the lowest setting possible, it just makes the game look terrible. It just looks even worse than the PlayStation 3 version of the game, which it makes no sense at all. So I want to know your thoughts about this whole situation about pre-ordering games and everything. Let me know in the comment section down below. Leave a like in this video and subscribe if you love video games and Steam Deck and PC gaming and everything. And I'll see you in the next one. See you guys. Bye-bye. Bye.